On the last couple of videos, we've been taking these logs and getting 6x6 timbers out of them. Nice, good, true 6x6 timbers. Well, I want to switch now and start doing 2x4s. So this particular log, this is the one we're going to start off with. And it's kind of an interesting log. It's a southern yellow pine log, and it's 15 inches on this end and a little bit over 19 on the other end. So it's a pretty drastic difference in maybe 10 feet. I didn't measure the length, but maybe 10 feet, something like that. So pretty drastic on the difference. So what I want to do is get true 2x4s out of it. So if this end is 15, we can probably get, if I'm really careful, I can probably get 3 4-inch cants out of this log. There'll probably be a few pieces that have wane on them, but I think we can get 3 4-inch cants out of this and then start getting our 2-inch thickness on these 2x4s as I go down. So let's go ahead and try to get our cants out of it, and then we'll see if we can get our 2x4s out of it. And a lot of you will remember a few days ago I had an issue with the main drive belt on this mill. While I was milling, a little strip came out of it about this long. I finally got another one ordered, and I've got it with me today. If it comes apart while I'm going, I'll go ahead and replace it, but I don't think it makes sense to replace it beforehand because I really don't think it can do any damage inside of the mill. But if it comes apart today, I've got a new one, so I should be okay. At this point, we're going to start getting our cants out of this smaller cants out of the larger cant. We shouldn't have any trouble getting 3 4-inch cants out of this large cant here. That's the word of the day, cant. We've got a 12 5/8 inch cant right here, and we're just going to take our saw. We're going to start right here and go 4 inches down, 4 inches down again, and then we'll measure 4 inches up from the bottom, and our waste piece will be right around in this area somewhere. So let's go ahead and do that. At this point, I've got my 3 4-inch cants out of this log, and I'm just going to start on the top here and start cutting 2-inch thickness out of them. That log turned out pretty good. I ended up with 18 true 2x4s out of that log, and it got just a little bit awkward there toward the end when my cant fell over on the outside. I had to move my clamp down so that the blade wouldn't hit it, and that made everything kind of unstable, and that outside cant ended up falling over. So I had to move everything out of the way, so I don't have a nice neat stack right here to show you, but trust me, between here and the tractor there's 18 of these, which is pretty good for a log like that, I would say. Not a whole lot of waste there. I don't know if you can see this final cut right here, but I ended up doing 6 2x4s that are actually 1 3/4 by 4 or something like that. And the reason that I did that is I didn't have enough material here to get 6 true 2x4s, so I figured it was better just to split the difference and make them just a little bit thinner. And for outdoor framing lumber, the thickness isn't nearly as important as the width, and the width on these is pretty acceptable, I would say, for outdoor framing lumber, which is pretty well what this is, rough cut stuff. And it's pretty satisfying to get 18 2x4s out of a log like this, because I mean, if you had to go to Home Depot to get stuff like this right now, number one, you're not going to find true 2x4s, but number two, you're probably going to end up paying just shy of $10,000 these days on something like this. It's pretty bad. So right now I'm going to go ahead and mill some more, and I'm going to not use the camera because it does take a lot more time with the camera running, but I do have some stuff to do at the house this afternoon. We're going to check on some results of a fly trap test that I've been doing for about a week now, and I will catch y'all then, so I'll see you later. So that's 54 2x4s out of that, and that is some really hot work. So let's go do something that's less hot. Bet I know what y'all want. How about some old biscuits? while they're enjoying that, I've mentioned on the channel before that I'm having some pretty serious fly problems out here at the pigs, and I don't know if I could call it a problem. It's really more of an annoyance, I guess, for me, and I guess it annoys the pigs too, I don't know. But I set out to try to do something about it, and this is kind of what I've come up with. I've really bought all of the traps that Tractor Supply had, and I put them out just to see which one was the most effective. I did that about a week or so ago, so what you're seeing here, we'll get a little bit closer here and go over each one of these traps, but what you're seeing here is about a week's worth of each one of these traps kind of doing its thing. I'm trying to beat the rain here. I think it's about to rain, which would be really, really welcome. So we'll start with kind of the least impressive trap and go to the most impressive. This is, let's see, this is the Captivator, Star Bar Captivator trap from Tractor Supply, and to be fair, I actually dropped this one a few days ago and spilled out some of the contents, so it could be the case that this one is actually not working up to its full potential. So I'll give it a break, I guess. Honestly, comparatively, it wasn't really doing that great before I spilled it. This one here is the Star Bar Trap and Toss disposable fly trap, also from Tractor Supply, and this one really has the same junk in it, the same bait in it that other one did, and actually in the last couple of days it has started to kind of hit its stride. I don't know if that stuff had to get stinkier for it to work better, but it's actually started working pretty well, so not too bad on this one. This one is the Raid Toss. I guess it's a trap and toss type deal as well, and it's doing okay. It's really not that impressive, quite honestly. It's not doing all that great. This one, however, is the hero of the bunch, and I can't even describe to you how horrendous all of this stuff smells with the dead flies and the original bait and the maggots that are in there. It's really horrific. But this trap, it's full of flies now. It doesn't really, it's just kind of the bait is kind of in between the cracks of the flies. It is pretty much completely full of flies all the way from here down to here. I mean, there are tens of thousands of flies in there. I know that y'all really don't want to see that, but anybody who's interested in this is the Rescue brand disposable big bag fly trap, and it's a disposable trap like it says. So yeah, that one worked extremely well. This one over here is also Rescue brand, and it's a reusable trap, which is pretty cool. But this one you can see from the side. Let me see if I can show you. It's got flies, dead flies, all the way from right there down to right there. So it's doing pretty good. It's not doing as good, and you can see all the live flies in the top there. It's not doing as good as the bag one from the same company, from Rescue, and I don't know if that's because of the different colored top on it or what it is. This one's got a green top and the other one has an orange top, and I put this in a different corner of the pig pen so they wouldn't compete with each other. So I'm not sure if it's because there's less flies over here or it's because of this green top, but it's done really well too. So Rescue Smarter Pest Control outdoor pop fly trap from Tractor Supply, that's a pretty good option. Here's my homemade trap right here. It's got water, sugar, soap, and pig waste in it, and you can see it has not done all that great, unfortunately. This little one right here is just apple cider vinegar and I think soap or something like that, which is what we use in the house for fruit flies, and it hasn't done that good either. So Rescue, that brand seems to be the winner as far as making the bait that's nasty enough for the most flies to go into it. I'm pretty impressed by it. So what I've done is I have ordered a whole bunch of just the packets, just the stinky packets. Of course, I can't keep buying those bag traps for $10 a piece, and they go bad in a week, and you know, then what? I have to buy another $10 trap. That's really expensive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that orange top that's on that bag, and I'm going to put it in the top of one of these little buckets right here, and I'm going to put the water and the bait inside of this bucket and make a bigger trap, really. And I'll probably do the same thing with the lid on that green one, just so I can have the lids to use and put them on top of these buckets, and I think I'll be able to make my own reusable fly traps. Is that not enough? Y'all want some real food? Y'all want some real food too? Let me see what I can do about that. I found an old picture a few days ago and sent it to a friend of how much these pigs have grown in the last few months. The first picture, I'll try to find it and put it on the screen. The first picture was March 1st, and today is June the 2nd, and it's just really incredible how much these pigs have grown in just 3 months. My plan was to go down and get the water pump going at the pond so I could water the garden this afternoon, but the wind's blowing pretty bad, and it's because there's a storm not too far from here. It looks like on the radar. It might or might not get us wet. I'm not sure. I'm hoping that it does rain. But anyway, if nothing else, I can water the garden in the morning. But that's going to do it for this video. I really appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you on the next one.